We interrupt this episode of the RVE podcast for an important announcement. The RV Entrepreneur Workshop at Hershey 2024 will be held during the Big RV Show in Hershey, Pennsylvania on September 12th. This full day of networking and entrepreneurial education will be followed by a live recording of this podcast featuring all of your favorite hosts. That evening, enjoy dinner, drinks, and dancing at the popular RV Life After Party. Both events are made possible by our amazing partners, including Jayco, Cool RV, Open Road Resorts, Lithionics Battery, Air Skirts, RV TV, Open Roads Fuel Card, Clear2O, Travelify, Work Camper News, and more. Visit therventrepreneur.com for more information and to reserve your spot. Tickets are guaranteed to sell out quickly, so act now at therventrepreneur.com. We now return to our regularly scheduled program.
Most folks think being an entrepreneur is freedom. For me, I don't really see it that way. I see being an entrepreneur as the fact that we have an opportunity to change the world. And as a company, as our company, Black Folks Camp 2, we might be one of the most delightful companies in the world. And our job is to actually change the world one campfire at a time.
Welcome to the RV Entrepreneur Podcast, the weekly show for nomads, work campers, RVers, and entrepreneurs looking to earn a living or build a business while enjoying the RV lifestyle. This week's host is Jim Nelson. Let's settle in and enjoy the RV Entrepreneur Podcast, brought to you by RV Life.
Hey, it's Jim again here with RV Life, back for another exciting episode of the RV Entrepreneur. I say that because I'm excited to share this very important discussion I had with my guest. You know, over the past 17 plus years on the road, Renee and I have seen very few people of color enjoying the RV lifestyle. And in our work as RV bloggers, we've discovered it's quite challenging to find stock photos of Black people enjoying the great outdoors. The reason may surprise you. And Earl B. Hunter Jr. is on a mission to change that. Earl started Black Folks Camp 2 after a cross-country RV trip with his son, where he discovered the same thing. In fact, after traveling throughout North America, he saw exactly one other Black family RVing. But after speaking with Earl, I believe that's about to change. In fact, it is changing, partly due to the work he's doing with the Unity Blaze campaign. The Unity Blaze Way is how campgrounds, manufacturers, outdoor industry brands, and fellow RVers can initiate change to foster inclusiveness in camping for everyone, regardless of color, gender, age, religious belief, or whatever else may be keeping you from feeling welcome wherever you go. And we're talking about generational change, a change to ensure everyone feels welcome everywhere, including your children and their grandchildren. It all begins with understanding the why. I talked with Earl about why Black folks have traditionally steered clear of camping. We discussed generational fear, lack of inclusion, and the steps we can all take toward more inclusivity outdoors. And that begins with the Unity Blaze. So hold on to discover the significance of the campfire in the Unity Blaze logo, learn about the reasons you don't see many Black people camping, and how Earl is creating partnerships to change that with the Unity Blaze Way, right after this short message from our partners.
Do you struggle with inadequate cooling in your RV during those sweltering summer months? The issue might be simpler than you think. Did you know that your RV air conditioners are not directly connected to any air ducts in most cases? This common setup drastically reduces their efficiency. Cool RV has engineered a brilliant solution to bridge this gap. Priced at only $84.95 each with free shipping. Dive into the details at coolrv.com. That's cool with a K, rv.com. Podcast listeners can save 5% with code RVLife. Attention detail-oriented explorers. Do you crave adventure and thrive in independent work environments? ID Plans seeks data rock stars to travel the country surveying commercial properties. Gain or use your tech skills like laser measuring and 3D cameras to gather data on everything from rooftop HVAC units to parking spaces. Challenge yourself in all weather conditions and enjoy the flexibility of managing your own schedule. This is more than a job. It's a chance to explore new places while putting your skills to the test. Competitive pay per project awaits. Are you ready to map your next adventure? Send your resume and work history to workcamperjob@idplans.com. Don't miss out.
Earl, thanks so much for joining me. I've been following what you're doing for quite a while now, and I'm looking forward to sharing what's going on.
Right on.
Right on indeed. So technically, this is the RV Life Entrepreneur Podcast, so I tend to ask all my guests 2 quick questions to get to know you. When were you first introduced to the RV life?
I was introduced to the RV lifestyle or the life in 2014. So I'm fairly young in the space. And it's funny, in that space, I was a RV executive, RV industry executive during that time. So
it sounds like you were in the industry. I did a little homework on you. You were in the industry, but then actually took part in the lifestyle on a certain trip I want to talk about in a bit. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur?
Well, to me, it's most folks think being an entrepreneur is freedom. For me, I don't really see it that way. I see being an entrepreneur as the fact that we have an opportunity to change the world. And as a company, as our company, Black Folks Camp 2, we might be one of the most delightful companies in the world. And our job is to actually change the world one campfire at a time. And we do that in a lot of different and various ways. We tell folks that we are one of the most delightful companies in the world. And we stand on data. We stand on integrity and principle. We're not kumbaya folks, and we don't sugarcoat anything. We are what we are, and we're very strategic in what we do.
Right on. I think you're doing something fantastic. I'm going to get into the details about the Unity Blaze and what that all means, but I want to take a quick step back about your background. What career steps did you take to become vice president of sales at Sylvan Sport?
Before Sylvan Sport, I was the vice president of a company. We did international sourcing, so I was traveling over to Vietnam and China a lot, and I was doing import-export a lot in different various countries, really fusing the U.S. commodities with commodities in different countries and vice versa. And before that, my background was in the mobile phone industry when the mobile phone industry was booming. And so my MO is finding the why. Once I find the why, I can help companies and help ourselves get to the what, when, where, and how. I'm a very strategic individual when it comes to driving the business. I like to go get it. Like I don't really like to hear a lot of folks' excuses. Because if we're in the business and we're driving it, we made a decision to do it, I just want to go do it, right? And a lot of times, my style doesn't fit everybody's style. My style of a hard charger or willing to go drive or willing to do what other folks won't do in regards to going that extra mile. It doesn't rock with a lot of folks, but I have an athletic background. I play football at a pretty high level. And I know that our team is everything, but I also know there's going to be somebody on that team who's going to make a play. He's going to make a play that actually going to the trajectory of the game is going to happen based on that play. And just so happen, I like to be the person to make that play. I love making that play.
Right on. And you clearly did something right to get to VP level at Sylvan Sport there. But then at some point, there was this epic road trip with your son, Dylan. Tell me about that. What happened there?
So I tell the story is that in 2017, in January 2017, my son came to me. He was 7 years old at the time. And he's like, Dad, you're going to take me to Mount Rushmore. And you said you're going to take me and you haven't taken me yet. So why haven't you taken me? He kind of held my feet to the fire, right? When I talk about being an athlete, talk about being an entrepreneur, talk about being a leader and vice president of several companies, he held my feet to the fire. So in June of 2017, my 7-year-old son and I, we loaded up in a truck in one of the Sylvan Sport Go Campers, and we drove around the country. We were gone for almost 3 months. And during that time, I learned a lot about my son. I learned that my son was just like his daddy, right? I learned that my son he's a go-getter. I learned that my son was not a quitter. He was a person that really wanted to be the person to make that play. But I also learned he couldn't swim, right? He didn't know how to swim as well as I thought he would. I knew he didn't know how to swim, but I didn't grasp how much swimming would be important until this trip, because every campground we went to actually had a swimming pool, right? And so throughout that entire trip with my son, I had an amazing time. We listened to Michael Jackson's album, Off the Wall album, the entire time, even when I tried to turn him on to Prince when we went to Minnesota, where Prince is actually from. My son and I traveled around North America, and I mean North America because we also went into, we camped all in BC as well, in British Columbia. And during that trip is when the idea of Black Folks Camp 2 came to be, right? I had already been an executive in the RV space, one of the only black executives in the RV industry, which is a $144 billion industry. And I was actually weaning myself off the industry because I wanted to help the industry do something that I knew they didn't know how to do, which is invite and welcome more entrepreneurs or more folks of color into the space. And the entrepreneurial mindset of myself started by starting Black Folks Camp 2 after traveling with my son. And we probably did about 14,000 miles around this country and only seeing one black family in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And that really sparked the Black Folks Camp 2, because black folks do camp. Black folks will camp. Black folks have camp. Our job is to encourage and invite and welcome more black folks to camp and enjoy the outdoor lifestyle with any and everyone.
Was it surprising to you? Were you unaware in the lack of representation of people of color on the road?
Absolutely. So, I wasn't necessarily unaware of it. I knew it was there because I was one of the only black executives in the industry. So I would go to all the RV shows. I'll be the only one. I would go to all the RV industry shows, the consumer shows, and I would be the only one. And I mean, I've been to almost every RV show in America or North America. I've been to every RV show, industry show, retail show in North America. So I've seen it. I know what it felt like to go into campgrounds where I'm the only one. It's still like that in a lot of spaces, right? In a lot of ways. And so instead of really complaining about the situation, honestly, I built a business around it to help change it, right?
That's Black Folks Camp 2.
Yeah, exactly. That's our company, Black Folks Camp 2.
Yeah, so I'm aware of this because I've been on the road 17 years. I married a Latina, so I'm kind of aware, and we're always on the lookout. We're kind of surprised, not surprised, but we're encouraged when we see people of color camping. And on the RV Life side, we're often looking for stock footage, stock people in campgrounds. Black people are underrepresented. Trying to find some photos is kind of tough. So I feel that. But recently, the 2024 KOA Camping Report just came out. They said there's been a 54% increase in participation for people of color being new campers, while the overall increase is 68%. Is this a normal growth or an increasing trend, or what do those numbers mean to you?
Well, I'm a data guy. We as a company, we spent close to $1 million in data and resources, and a lot of that data that comes out into the industry, a lot of times I have to be very careful on how I read it and how I look into it, because I'm in campgrounds a lot too, right? And I'm in this industry a lot. And I don't see that very often, right? I don't see that data reflecting what I see out in the marketplace, right? And so I have to be very careful and to agree or disagree with data. So I'm not going to agree or disagree with it. I'm just going to say to you, though, that we have to be very strategic in how we actually invite and welcome folks into the outdoors, right? Camping is something that has escaped the quote unquote black consumer or the consumer of color for a long time for a lot of reasons. And we've been sharing with the industry for the last 5 years on what the whys are, right? Why folks of color have not been in the outdoors. For the last 5 years, we haven't really talked to the consumer. We've been talking to the industry because we believe the industry has the most to lose and the most to gain in regards to getting more minorities and more people of color and more black folks into the space, but particularly black folks. I am an advocate for more black folks in the outdoors based on the fact that I know the history on why many black folks or people of color particularly have not been camping or RVing. I believe that RVing is a really amazing opportunity for people to get together as family and friends. I believe that RVing is an amazing place for people to live out their dreams and live on the road. But also from an entrepreneurial perspective, though, I believe that outdoor industry, particularly the RV industry, is going to see catastrophic failure if they do not learn how to invite and welcome more black folks into the atmosphere of camping and RVing.
And we're going to get into that and how that can happen through Unity Blaze. But what do you think are the main challenges that have kept black people from becoming more involved in camping and RVing?
Well, it's not really what I think. It's what we know. Our company, most folks think that we are a group and a club, or they think that we are a nonprofit or a charity. We're not, right? We are a for-profit company. We are an entrepreneurial company. We are LLC. And our job for the last 4 years, what we've been doing, most folks think that we're a group or a club because they think that because we took folks out in the outdoors. Well, we took out everyone. We took out folks of different backgrounds, demographics. We took out folks of different tax brackets and things of that nature. We took them out RVing. We took them backpacking. We did everything in the outdoors except for rock climbing. We did that. Yes, we wanted those folks to have a good time, But we did that so we can collect data from them thousands of folks to understand why they were not going into the outdoors. And I wanted to make sure that their why aligned with my why. A person who's from Columbia, South Carolina, grew up in the South. I wanted to get them to understand. I wanted to understand their why so that see if it aligned with my why and align with my friend's why and all my other friends' why, and actually the why actually matched up, right? And so the number one reason why many Black folks, particularly Black folks, have not been in the outdoors is because generational fear. You know, my great-grandmother told my grandmother, told my mother, told me, hey, you don't belong in them woods. Don't go in them woods, right? And so we didn't go in the woods. And the reason why she would say that is because some of the most heinous things in the world happen to Black folks in the woods, right?
Yeah.
And so we were conditioned not to experience the outdoors the way that the current majority of lifestyles actually experience the outdoors, right? That's number one, generational fear. Number two is when you don't experience something because of fear, you don't have any knowledge, right? Many of the folks that we took out had no knowledge, right? They had no knowledge of the RV lifestyle. Many of them have never been on an RV lot. None of them really had heard about how the RV lifestyle is can be pertinent to their lifestyle. Many of these folks didn't know what to do when they didn't know what trailheads were. Many of them didn't know that these traditional campgrounds that are actually located maybe 2 or 3 miles from their homes or actually existed, right? And so fear, knowledge, and the third thing is one of the most important things that I try to help folks understand. The industry really never invited and welcomed people of color and Black folks into the space, which is the reason why the industry is 99% white. The lifestyle is like 96% white for the most part. And no one really said, hey, there's a group of folks out there that have a lot of revenue, and we probably want to get those folks to spend their revenue in this space. And no one ever said, come over here and bring your dollars to us and allow us to utilize those dollars and then show you how incredible the outdoors is and the RV lifestyle is. That wasn't done, and it hasn't been done properly yet, right? So strategically, it has not been done. It's been done kumbaya-ish, but it hadn't been done strategically. And we built this company, Black Folks Camp 2, to be a strategic company to help the industry invite and welcome this new non-traditional consumer to the outdoor space, particularly to the RV space.
That's fantastic. I love it. So what is the Unity Blaze campaign?
Well, you know, the Unity Blaze is a campfire in our logo, right? Let me just kind of break this down for you. The campfire or the fire, it's the oldest form of light. And it's the oldest form of heat, the oldest form of gathering, the oldest form of cooking. And what the campfire does, no matter what your lineage is, no matter your race, age, abilities, gender, your lineage came from the campfire, right? And because it came from the campfire, we believe that the campfire is the single best symbol to create more unity in the outdoor community and beyond. You know, so as we built this campaign around this campfire, which is in our logo, which we call the Unity Blaze, it means that you're invited and you're welcome. Our hope is that everyone who wants to see a more inclusive environment, everyone who wants to see more diversity in these spaces, they will gravitate to the Unity Blaze, which is the symbol within our logo. And so what we have done is we position the Unity Blaze as a symbol for campgrounds and the entire outdoor industry to attract any consumer to say, listen, you are invited and you're welcome here. But you just can't buy the Unity Blaze to put up in your camp, right? You have to go through our course. We created courses for the outdoor industry to understand the why so that they can actually get to the what, when, where, and how to invite and welcome folks. I am adamant about education, right? I'm adamant about educating the industry. I've keynoted around this country almost 200 times actually in the last 5 years. And it baffles me, to be frank with you, that there's an entire industry, a $1.1 trillion industry, which is the outdoor industry, that does not know the reasons why a group of folks that are some of the most athletic people in the world, that they don't trail run, or why these folks don't swim, or why they're not mountain biking as much, why they're not doing these things. And many of the folks I talk to at some of the larger companies in the country in the outdoor space, they don't know the why. And because you don't know the why, you can't get to the what, when, where, and how. And it causes chaos a lot of times because the folks who are on the ground who are tasked to fix this issue, because they don't know the why, they tend to think that folks are doing they're doing woke work, like you're being woke by inviting and welcoming people. Well, we tell folks we're not being woke. We're just trying to keep the outdoor industry from going broke. That's just kind of how it is, how we operate.
And like you just said there, like showing people how it is. Here's the facts, here's the story, here's the history that we need to know. So I understand the blaze and how that represents the common thread, and we all depend upon that for survival and communication.
Right,
and it's where community happens. And you might have kind of answered this already, but what is the Unity Blaze way, and how can typical white RVers like me get involved?
Well, one of the things I tell folks ask me all the time when they see our company, because we're such a delightful company, right?
Yeah.
Our company says Black Folks Camp 2. It don't say Black folks camp only with Black folks, or Black folks camp by themselves, or Black folks segregate from everybody else and don't camp with nobody else but them. It says Black Folks Camp 2, and 2 means also and as well. What we found in America, though, most folks can't read very well, particularly white folks can't read very well when it comes to our company, because we receive some of the most heinous emails you wouldn't believe because we started a company called Black Folks Camp 2, because I don't know what folks were thinking. They thought we maybe were going to start World War III, and yet we are a company who promote unity in the outdoor community and beyond. Our job is to tell the truth and tell the facts so we can actually drive the business. And so most folks who truly understand that diversity and inclusion is important in the world and also in the outdoors, they understand this. Look, if we don't get more folks, particularly of color, in the outdoors is going to fail based on demographics. In the next 10 to 12, 13 years, the minority will be the majority in this country. And the minorities in this country really know nothing about the outdoors. They know nothing about RVing. They know nothing about these spaces. So these RV companies and these outdoors, they're going to see catastrophic failure in regards to the consumers not coming there to spend their dollars, right? So this is the Unity Blaze way is a part of the lifestyler helping preserve one of the most amazing pastimes in the world is befriend somebody that don't look like you, right? That may or may not look like you, and invite and welcome those folks to enjoy the outdoor lifestyle with you and your family. And then once you all get around that campfire, you're going to find out what we already know. You're going to find out that we have more same than differences. You're going to find out that the problems you have as a white male, I have those same problems as a black male. You're going to find out that you have some issues, some health issues that I may have. You're going to find out a whole lot of things about you and that person. It is going to dissolve some of the other things you may have thought about each other. And so for us, we always say it's bigger than camping. It is bigger than camping for us, but we're just using camping and the campfire as a catalyst to bring folks together because it's been doing it for years. Right?
That is beautiful. And I'm all on board and making this happen. And I love how you're doing this through education. So how do dealerships, manufacturers, and industry players get Unity Blaze certified?
Well, what we did was one of the biggest reasons why we created this whole Unity Blaze mission is because we were getting 200 and 300 emails every week of folks emailing us and asking us and saying, look, particularly during COVID, folks asked us, hey, we want to try to go camping, but I don't know if these campgrounds or these RV dealerships actually want me to come because they never really asked me to come. So we created this system where we would go out and educate the RV dealers, campgrounds, conservancies, land trusts, retailers, manufacturers, anybody up under the outdoor umbrella on the why these folks hadn't come. We created this course. We have an online course. These folks can actually go take our online course, become Unity Blaze certified, and then they're added to our map in which the consumer now can see that, and they now visit those locations that truly understand why they haven't been there. So when they arrive, they know how to invite and welcome them. And by the way, the Unity Blaze, it doesn't say, and this is what I have to tell folks in America, is that the data says that consumers now want to purchase from companies who recognize diversity and inclusion. That's what the data says. The data says the people in America want to buy and spend their money with people who understand diversity and inclusion is important. And the reason why is because, listen, there are a lot of families out there that are interracial families. There are a lot of families out there that have interest in other race, age, and gender. They have grandchildren that may or may not look like them. And at the end of the day, their minds and their thoughts, listen, they want to make sure that their children, and everyone around them feel invited and welcome in this space. And I think it's a fiduciary duty on the RV industry's part to make sure they're not blowing this type of information off, but they really are thinking about everything that I'm saying and knowing that it will not be changed overnight. However, though, we're at the toenail of the elephant, and we have to be very strategic. And how we do this is not just putting someone on a billboard. It's not just advertising here. It's not just that. It's about becoming educated so that you can be more profound in how you actually educate your consumers and also and educate yourself and how to invite and welcome these folks.
RVing is more than just a hobby. It's a community. When you join RV Life, you're not just gaining access to a suite of tools. You're becoming part of a vibrant community of fellow RV enthusiasts. Share your experiences, learn from others, and make your RV journey even more memorable. Visit RVLife.com to become a part of our community and start making connections that last a lifetime.
So I want to talk about that education because I want to be educated. Tell me.
Right on.
You stand behind your Blaze certification with these courses that help organizations, quote unquote, develop the knowledge and skills they need to create lasting change. That's great. I want to help.
Absolutely.
So what are you doing with Unity Blaze Academy, and what type of things will business owners learn? Like, give me a few nuggets there as a business owner.
One of the biggest things, they're going to learn the why, right? The why is going to, once folks hear that why, everything that they thought and why people of color, black folks have not been in the outdoors, it's going to be an aha moment for them. It's going to be a real aha, like, oh, wow. And then immediately their marketing and strategy should change in the way they do things. In case it does not change, we're here to help you change that, right? We're here to help guide you through the process. But we don't go past go until you become Unity Blaze certified. And the reason why is because we need you to know who we are, what we stand for, how we get it done, why we get it done, and how we're going to keep getting it done, right? We need you to be all in with us because we don't need this to be a kumbaya deal. We don't need you to be a part of Black Folks Camp 2 just because we're a company headed by Black folks. And by the way, we have probably one of the most diverse staffs in the industry, right? When it comes to different race, age, and genders of folks. And so we're wanting to teach all of our partners. If you're a partner of the Unity Blaze, then you have access to us to help you do the things that you say you cannot do, yet you want to do, right? The second thing is that you're a part of our newsletter, right? We have a newsletter that goes out every quarter. It's going to give you some tips on how to be much more inviting and welcoming. We're going to help you drive the business. Right? We always tell folks, we don't move our feet, we don't eat, right? We don't send in ask. We don't send ask as in asking people for anything. We send in invoices for the work that we've completed based on the deliverables that we said we're going to deliver, right? We work with some of the largest companies in the world, right? Some of the largest companies in the world, and they count on us to help them behind the scenes or in the forefront to help them do something that they don't know how to do. We work with states in educating them in regards to how to invite and welcome folks. We work with commercial companies. We work with a lot of campgrounds. We have over 600 campgrounds that'll be on our website in the next 2 to 3 months based on the fact that they want to invite and welcome everyone. They want to feel that. And you can say this to yourself. You can say this as a company. We already invite and welcome people. Well, they actually probably don't know that. The consumer doesn't know that. So because they don't know that, we want to make sure that they do know.
Well, you can do that with some brand recognition with that Unity Blaze on places. And you talk about partnerships. I wanted to get into that. You've developed some impressive partnerships. And so how are these organizations helping you and vice versa?
Well, we're partners. And so what we do is our job is to understand what their needs are. And their needs are, look, we want to be better as a company. We want to be better in regards to inviting and welcoming folks. But really what companies really want to do, they want to learn the why, right? Many folks, after that first course, they're satisfied in their mind and their heart that some things that they did not know. A lot of things they did not know. And because they did not know it, it helps cure their mindset. I give you an example. We partner with a college, Lees McRae College in Banner Elk, North Carolina. They're our first Unity Blaze certified outdoor recreation department, which is college there. And, before we met with them, before they took our course, they were going in one direction. And now that they've gone through our course and gone through our training, they put together a 30, 60, 90 to change the way they do things so they can attract more minorities, more people of color into their space so that they can be much more diverse and to line up with the demographics of the country and also line up with where the country is going demographically. That is smart. That is smart business in what they're doing. Because if we know the data and the data is pointing to a shift in demographics, they're smart to get in front of that. A lot of folks in this country, particularly businesses, they run from that. They run from diversity, and they should be running to it because it's happening no matter what, right? It's happening. And so we should be running to it, but we also should be able to have these conversations about how, what, when, where, and how based on the why. Now, some of our partners, they've taught us a lot, right? We work with the Cummings of the world. We work with the Obos, footwear. We work with Indiana State Parks, Wisconsin, Oregon. Now we're about to work with Arizona. And there's so many other state parks that are in the queue. When you go to Indiana State Parks and all you have to do is look around, you're going to see our Unity Blaze.
Nice.
You're going to see our Unity Blaze flags. You're going to see our Unity Blaze because they're telling you, they're saying to you, to the consumer, no matter your race, your age, your gender, or your ability, you are welcome and invited and welcome here at Indiana State Parks. We have campgrounds are the same way. Spacious Skies Campground, our first campground partner, 15 campgrounds. They said, listen, we want to invite and welcome folks, and we want folks to know it. So we want to display that Unity Blaze. We want them to know that blaze means something. And we know that campfire is extremely important to the industry, and it's extremely important to the legacy and how we leave this country in regards to our children, everyone. One of the things I always tell our staff is a few things. Number one, we won a lot of awards as a company. We're going to be posting those awards. We really hadn't posted those awards, but we're going to post those awards. But to be frank with you, the only award we want to win is the Nobel Peace Prize. That's the only award we want to win. Because we feel like we can really shift and change the industry that we believe is going to have some hard times if they don't learn how to change.
With some generational change.
Absolutely. And the second thing is, listen, I built this company for a couple of different reasons. This company is being built because we need to make sure that my children are not afraid to go in the outdoors with your children, so they all can be around the campfire having an amazing time. Because when you and I have gone and left this earth, my friend, we want to leave this country better for our children. And we have to do that. Otherwise, the only thing we've left them is a lot of material things, right?
Yeah.
And the third thing is to this is my life. I put my money and my time and my effort on the line. I'm an entrepreneur just like everybody else. Nobody gives us anything. We've never accepted a donation. Never. We've never written a grant. Never. We built this company based on good folks out there in America and in other countries who visualize and understand what we're doing. They understand that we're building unity in the outdoor community and beyond, my friend.
I love what you're doing and the way you're doing it. I just love your passion, and your bio mentions your, quote, non-traditional approach to building relationships and closing deals. So what is the traditional way to close deals, and what are you doing differently to make these partnerships happen?
I think the traditional way for folks is to go into a situation just as transactional, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I like transactional too because we're in business. But I'm an emotional guy, right?
Sure.
We don't call people out. We don't call people out to make them feel bad. My job is not to make you feel bad about the situation. My job is to call you in, right? To call you in to the place where we are. And so you can understand this data. So you can look at the way we look at it. So you can say, aha, I have to change. It's not that I'm changing because Black Folks Camp 2 and Earl wants us to change. No, I have to change in this space because of demographics, because of data. And we want Black Folks Camp 2 and Earl and his delightful company and their staff to help us, and we want to be a part of that Unity Blaze train, right? The other thing that we are really good at, we don't twist people's arms. Now, we're not out here making people change. We don't care if you change or not. You should care more than we do because it's your business, right? We don't twist folks' arms. We twist hearts. And when we twist hearts, what I mean by twisting hearts, brother, what I mean by that is that, like I said before, when you and I are out of here, when our days are gone, I want Black Folks Camp 2 to go out of business. If we go out of business, bro, we've done our job.
That's beautiful.
Right? We've done our job. And so, I have to tell folks this, we may be one of the most delightful companies in the world. You're going to pay us for our work, but we're going to get it done, though, right?
Right.
In the last, we've seen so many groups and clubs and organizations attempt to do this work, and they've been doing it for the last 20 and 30 years, and we're not saying they didn't do anything good or didn't do it right, but we still have a problem here in 2024, and we shouldn't even be talking about this in 2024.
No, we shouldn't.
And we aim to fix it. We aim to fix this issue, inclusion, diversity in the outdoors, as long as the industry and the lifestyles are wanted. And be honest with you, even if they don't want it, we're going to fix it anyway, because it has to be done for the industry to thrive.
Yeah, and it comes back to creating those partnerships with others and creating that generational change by showing people the facts, not by making them feel guilty or anything like that.
Right on.
But a lot of our audience here is content creators and small business owners who want to create a partnership with a major brand. So where do these people begin? And how do you break that ice and create a partnership without the whole transactional, I can do this for you if you do this for me?
Well, everybody has their gift, right? And I have a gift. My gift was connecting. I always tell folks I've never had a bad day in my life, I've never had a bad day in my life. Now, I've had some bad moments, right? And the energy that I give off is not something that's manufactured. The energy that I give off is in me. It's who I am.
It shows.
It's who I've been born. I've been born into this life of being strategic with folks. And also, I want to make folks feel good about what they're doing. I want to make folks feel excited about who they are. And I would tell small business folks, I would tell content folks, I would tell folks who are in business, who are trying to get in business, listen, nobody owes you anything. You started a business because you wanted to start the business.
Right.
No one is obligated to do business with you. You can't make people do business with you. The only thing you can do is make your product accessible. You can make yourself accessible and make the fact that what you're doing, that it is it stands on what we stand on. And we stand on it being sincere. If it's not sincere, if it's not meaningful, if it can't be measured, then we know it won't be sustainable, right? And everything we do is sincere. It is meaningful. We can measure it so we know it can be sustainable, right? And again, I try to make myself accessible. We try to make our staff accessible. We have a staff full of gurus, right? We hire people not based on their race, age, and their gender or their abilities, but we did hire them on the fact that they believe in what we're doing, right? And once they start to believe in what we're doing, they want to come to work every day. They want to come to work every day, and they want to get it done, right?
I want to come to work with you. You guys are fun. You're getting it done. You're getting it done.
We're getting it done.
Let's talk about some of this fun content, your Outdoor 101 series. Who's Coach Pugh? What are you doing with this?
Yeah, so Coach Pugh was my high school football coach, right? And he also was the head football coach at South Carolina State University, which is a HBCU, historically black college and university. Coach Pugh became we brought Coach Pugh in as we worked with South Carolina State Parks to actually educate more consumers about South Carolina State Parks, and also to be the spokesperson, because Coach Pugh is a lifelong South Carolinian. People love this man. He's incredible. And for him to endorse state parks is incredible, because the first time Coach Pugh was camped was the time that we took him camping in 2020, right? 2021. So now he loves the outdoors now, right? And so we believe in, that's one piece of the Outside 101. And then we linked up with our partners, Oboz Footwear. And if you go to our website, most folks may or may not know this, but we partner with Oboz, and we have our Unity blades inside of Oboz insoles, right? And so our job with Oboz was to educate the consumer about their feet, footwear, and trails, right? So we figured, let's educate before we start to invite and welcome the consumer to go out to go camping or backpacking and go on trails, or even to get into the RV life. We wanted to teach them about their feet. We wanted to tell them how to take care of your feet, right? How to wear the proper shoes and of course, we want you to wear oboes and wear their insoles, right? Because they make great product. So everything that we've ever done, whether it be with North Carolina State Parks, when we're creating all of these content videos to show what unity looks like in the outdoor community, right? And we take a non-traditional way to this, non-traditional approach. When people tell us that we shouldn't do it, we probably do it, right?
Yeah,
You know, folks have said many times that if you believe in everyone getting in the outdoors, why your company is called Black Folks Camp 2? Why is it called Black Folks Camp 2 if you're trying to get everyone? Well, let me just tell you this. Black folks are the only race in this country that had laws to keep them out of the outdoors.
Right.
Those laws weren't lifted until 1964. Many state and national parks are segregated until then. And so, again, the sentiment is true. Black folks do camp, have camp, will camp. And honestly, we got our name and our logo. It's probably one of the most incredible names and logos in the country, in the world. That's why we have it. Right?
And most people are missing that two part. I mean, it's the inclusivity, man. That's what it's all about to me. And we just kind of scratched the surface of your Outdoor 101 series, but it seems like that is kind of addressing point number 2 from the beginning, the knowledge, kind of sharing that information about, you are now welcome, especially if you got this blazer nearby. But with all these resources on your website, I mean, you got job search, you got working with universities. You mentioned HBCU real quickly. Can you just tell our listeners what an HBCU is and how you're working together?
So HBCU, they're historically Black college and university. I didn't graduate from an HBCU. I graduated from Appalachian State University. However, my money and my time have been going to HBCUs because they've been very significant. You know, at one time in this country, Black folks could not go to predominantly white institutes, predominantly white colleges in this country. We were not allowed to go. So HBCUs were formed. And we love to tap into HBCUs because the majority of Black folks in America who graduated from college graduated from HBCUs, right? And so we wanted to make sure we tapped into that. And also, we don't know one HBCU in this country that has an outdoor recreation program, right? When I mean outdoor recreation, I mean the type that, you know, that the industry is going to that particular university and hiring those folks to work in those spaces. And so we are working with HBCUs and also the industry to bring that together so these folks know that, these young folks know that you have an opportunity to work in this industry, right? You know, this industry lacks diversity in the workforce as well. And we believe that the industry would be so much better if they had more diversity in this space, right?
I agree.
And not this diversity in color. I tell people this is not what we're speaking of. I'm speaking of also diversity in mind, diversity in thoughts, diversity in creativity. All of that will make it better. I played football at a really high level, and I tell folks I played football at Appalachian State, and we won. We won because we had a diverse group of folks. We won because we had a diverse group of coaches and people who thought differently. We won because we were unified, right? And that, to me, it goes all the way, this takes me all the way back to the locker room. The campfire, to me, is like the locker room. When we're in that locker room and we're having conversation, our conversation is going out to band together, to be together, and to do things together to win a game. Well, I don't know anything in this country that can win and can be champions if they're not unified, right? And we're going to stand on unity as a company.
And that's what it's all about. That's what it's about with the Blaze there. So with all of these resources and everything you're doing there, Earl, what are you most proud of and where can people learn more?
I'm most proud of that we've been in business for 5 years and we've never had to accept a donation or write a grant. You know, this company was built on, we don't have any investors. Our company was built on the fact that someone had a dream, someone had an idea. I put my money where my mouth is, right? Because this is less about the industry. It is about my children, right? And it's about your children. Mm-hmm. This is the greatest investment I've ever made in my life. And this is the greatest investment that I could make in my life based on the fact that I know the history of the outdoor industry and I know the history of the outdoor lifestyle. And so being in business for 5 years, we're just at the toenail of the elephant, my friend. At the toenail of the elephant, meaning we're at the start, right? That we have some incredible things that are going to happen. And the next thing is about that, but I've been so proud of, is that there's some folks out there who hear me. There's some folks out there that want to wave that blaze. There's some folks out there that love inclusivity. I want to give those folks a voice too. There's some folks that don't look like me that really want to drive this and help this and make sure that everybody's in the outdoors. I want those folks to have a voice as well. I want those folks to say, listen. I want those folks to say, listen, I may not look like you, Earl. I may not talk like you. I may not walk like you. But listen, I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I want to jump on board, and I want to follow that Unity Blaze way.
I'm on your team, man. Let's do that.
Let's do it, baby. Listen, because here's the thing. The greatest thing about the Unity Blaze way is this. You either going to do it or you don't. You either going to do it or you don't.
So real quick, you talked about that toenail, that elephant facing huge challenges. How do you overcome major challenges? I mean, you got the energy, you got the passion, but how can people take that next step to eat that elephant?
Well, listen, let me tell you, nothing in life that's worth it is easy. Nothing. I'm a good times kid living a Huxtable lifestyle. Right? And I tell folks that all the time. If you know those sitcoms, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. Listen, Jim, we all have issues in our life, man. We all are going through something, good, bad, or indifferent. Every entrepreneur is going through something. They went through something. Times get tough. It's when you get tougher. When you feel like the world is beating down on your back. When you feel like the world has taken you by storm. When you feel like your employees are feeling like people are not understanding what you say. I want you to go 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards. That's still progress. And I tell entrepreneurs this. And if you hear me on the sound of my voice, listen, folks, this ain't no rocket science, right? This ain't rocket science. Business is business. You create a business and you create value on your business, and you then share that business and that value with folks that you believe that will actually respect your value. I don't take any wooden nickels. And what that means is I don't need you to help me advertise. I need you to pay me and let me do my job. I don't need this feeling of a partnership where it's one-sided, where I'm doing all the work and you're getting all the benefit or vice versa. I go into a partnership as a partner. I'll stay up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to drive a business as long as you're doing the same thing, right? I don't want to be a part with partners that we're just pulling the load and just so folks can actually get a photo and get a picture to say they're inclusive. We have people on our team. We have people in our space, particularly our partners. They understand me. They know I don't sugarcoat anything. They know we're here to change this. So anybody under the sound of my voice out there, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you are going through some tough times or you're going through some good times, listen, 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. That's progress. And just drive the business, baby. Drive the business.
So where do they start, Earl? Where do they find out more and get on board?
Listen, go to our website, blackfolkscamp2.com. Blackfolkscamp2.com. That's TOO.com. Blackfolkscamp2.com. Thumb through our website, right? Thumb through our website. And once you thumb through it and you still don't see something you like, go down to the part where it says contact us. Contact us and somebody will get in touch with you. Even if you just want to go to our site, contact us to encourage us to keep going. We like that too. Because I'm doing that to you right now, right? And just know that Black Folks Camp 2, we will be foolish if we think that we're going to do this on our own, and you will be foolish too if you think that we're going to do it on our own, right? Right on. We are a very strategic company. We believe in unity, and we partner with folks who like to partner with us, period.
Right on. Let's all partner together and make it to a point where blackfolks2.com is not required anymore, and we're just all inclusive.
Black Folks Camp 2. And one last thing, Jim. This is my tagline that every call that I've taken, every keynote that I've done.
Let's hear it.
I always tell folks, listen, no matter if you heard anything on the sound of my voice, it made sense, or it made sense, it didn't make sense, if it made you mad, it made you happy. I just want you to know that I hope you have the greatest day of your life today. And I hope tomorrow is better.
Beautiful way to sum this up. I really appreciate it, Earl. Thanks for your time. Keep up the good work.
Right on, my friend. Thank you.
Exciting, right? Earl is filled with passion for his mission. But he's not just doing this for himself or just for Black people. It's the two in Black Folks Camp 2 that matters. As in, also, in addition to. We're all in this together. And together, we can change the world, one campfire at a time. So, go make friends with someone who may not look like you. You'll probably discover you have a lot more in common than you think. And keep an eye out for that Unity Blaze logo wherever you go. I have a feeling we'll be seeing that around a lot more. Let campgrounds know how you appreciate them taking the step to become a certified partner. And see how you can get started at blackfolkscamp2.com. Speaking of partners, reach out in the RV Entrepreneur Facebook group to find partners for your next big project. And please, support the partners who help make this show possible.
Do you struggle with inadequate cooling in your RV during those sweltering summer months? The issue might be simpler than you think. Did you know that your RV air conditioners are not directly connected to any air ducts in most cases? This common setup drastically reduces their efficiency. Cool RV has engineered a brilliant solution to bridge this gap, priced at only $84.95 each with free shipping. Dive into the details at coolrv.com. That's cool with a K, rv.com. Podcast listeners can save 5% with code RVLife. Attention detail-oriented explorers. Do you crave adventure and thrive in independent work environments? ID Plans seeks data rock stars to travel the country surveying commercial properties. Gain or use your tech skills like laser measuring and 3D cameras to gather data on everything from rooftop HVAC units to parking spaces. Challenge yourself in all weather conditions and enjoy the flexibility of managing your own schedule. This is more than a job. It's a chance to explore new places while putting your skills to the test. Competitive pay per project awaits. Are you ready to map your next adventure? Send your resume and work history to workcamperjob@idplans.com. Don't miss out.